Yeah, so this is on a dimension of motherhood that is not frequently discussed, I think, in the social science literature, but is very much a real phenomenon, which is the what people call invisible labor, things that moms do that are not tangible necessarily, like driving kids to and from practices or cooking meals, but it's more sort of the mental labor that's involved in keeping everything together, managing the household, and so on. So what we did was basically put numbers to this as what proportion of moms feel like there were three choices. One, mostly me. One is where we share the responsibilities, and one is mostly my spouse. And it was startling the high percentage of moms who said that it was mostly they who did much of this invisible labor in the household. In particular, was what is probably the most boring and yet most stressful, which is managing the routines, everyday routines of everyone in the home. So I know this because I did this myself as a mom when my kids were home. Keeping track of who's being picked up from what practice and who's got a performance when and which teacher needs to be met with and so on. This is a lot of balls that are kept up in the air. And to just keep track of all of those, and not to mention the fact that some of them do falter sometimes, what to do in the aftermath of that. This takes enormous emotional energy. And so far, I don't think people have put a number to it. So in this paper, we found that almost 80-90% of women said on this particular dimension of keeping track of the household, running the household smoothly, 80 to 90% of the moms said it's mostly me. So we looked at associations between different aspects of feeling solely responsible for things related to the kids and household and mothers' mental health outcomes. The one that was most strongly related to depression and feeling poorly about one's marriage or oneself was actually feeling solely responsible for the children's mental health. That my kids are happy, or that their value systems are being shaped appropriately. So when moms felt that they were solely responsible on that very critical front, which is how their kids were growing up as human beings, psychologically and emotionally, that was the dimension that was most strongly related to their poor mental health, to the mom's poor mental health. Now you might ask, well, what happened to running the household and being a captain of the ship that's running the household? The trouble is we couldn't really do a fair test of that in relation to mental health because almost everybody was doing it. So you can make a comparison of, let's say, half or more are yes and half or more are no. But if everybody is yes, I'm doing it, there's really no comparison group, so to speak. So with that restricted variance, as we call it, we were not able to capture the degree to which it's a burden. But I can certainly tell you in all conversations we've had with all mothers in all settings, they will all tell you without fail, that is a huge strain.